The new Assassin's Creed Shadows update is a huge letdown, unfortunately. I was really looking forward to some of the additions. Now, I think the parkour additions are awesome. The sad part is that you won't really use them when regularly playing the game because there are not a lot of parkour opportunities. Still cool that they're adding those, but I would argue that this game is in need of a lot of other things that actually benefit the overall gameplay loop. And what they're right now doing is unfun things to extend the player time, to have things to do in the game, but without any sort of goal. Those things are not really fun, like grinding out resources and stuff. And we don't even know if we will have to use the things that we are improving. So I want to start with the corrupted castle. So that was the big new feature. I really think that Shadows was lacking a sort of repeatable thing. For example, in Odyssey, you constantly have the mercenaries hunt you, so if you make a new build in that game, you can immediately test it out against high-level soldiers. And we're always in these Ubisoft games, I want to focus on Ubisoft here in a moment, or like for this video, we're always seeing the same thing happen. You complete the game, and then you've completed all the camps, and the camps are either empty or the strong enemies. Like, there's no good reason to go back to these camps, basically. And then always we see after the fact they're adding a replay camp feature. So now Shadows has it too. At level 30 you see these corrupted castles appear. So I was like, okay, that's awesome. It's a new activity. Finally something to... I've been building out my character. I got cool builds for Naue and Yasuke. Let's put those to the test because these corrupted dice show they are more powerful. Sure, they use moves more frequently, basically. They are a bit more aggressive, but you don't really need a build. You don't really need to enhance your gear or anything to beat those enemies. But that's not really the problem. I mean, I was looking for a challenge, but even on Nightmare, they're not really that much of a challenge. The problem is that there is no real incentive to do this activity. And I think that that's very important in a game like this. When Valhalla was adding brand new activities, and that was kind of the focus of that game, you felt like satisfied after completing it because you got completely new stuff. So of course they did the first mastery challenges, river raids and stuff like that. They were still figuring it out. But then especially in year 2, every time you got a new content drop with new mastery levels or the Tombs of the Fallen, there was a unique reward linked to it for doing that activity. So even if you already had were high level, or it did not matter, there was always, for people who were playing the game, still playing the game basically, did not finish it, and for people that already finished it, there was a reason to do it. And now with the corrupted castles, you get purple gear and you get gold. So basically things that you can get elsewhere in the game. I noticed during the stream, like you encounter a lot of these chests that give you purple gear. So there's no good reason basically to do these corrupted castles. Also, gold is of course really nice. You can use it to upgrade your gear to any level without requiring resources. And now there's a new enhanced feature for your gear as well that puts an extra level on your gear. You need a lot of gold for that too. But there are a lot of other sources for gold. You can do New Game Plus. That's the fastest way to get gold. Basically, when the update dropped, I already had 100 gold, and I already had purple gear. Purple gear in this game, I don't know, it's not really that important. I mean, you could argue, sure, you can get some stats, like better stats instead of the legendary perk. So on paper, you could have more damage or something. But that's the whole thing, and that's the whole mismatch in what we're seeing now with Shadows. They are really afraid to go in the RPG direction, like showcase a stat page. If you have, for example, multiple gear pieces, and you have to calculate the crit chance yourself to know what your overall crit chance is, for example. It's wild, because Odyssey and Valhalla did have a stat page. And damage numbers, I think it's nice. And I've said it even before launch, and people made fun of me. I get it, because for an Assassin's Creed game it might be weird, but look what they're doing in this game. They're really making it like they're having these RPG goals where, okay, we now are adding a new activity where you can farm purple gear, blah blah blah. But then they don't go the extra mile where I can actually see what the impact is of using that gear, of getting, it's so weird. I wanna, when I equip an item that has more damage, if you see the number go up, you immediately notice the impact. And right now, I don't know what's happening. Like, I think I'm dealing more damage. I'm killing the enemies pretty fast. But I was already doing that before the corrupted castles. Basically, this whole feature, I think we needed something cool, replayable in this game. But yeah, there's no use. I really thought they would add, like, I was kind of like okay with them not really going the Odyssey direction. And in Odyssey, it was, of course, if you would assassinate an enemy, you needed assassin damage. Otherwise, you would try it, the enemy would get back up, and yeah, you still had to fight. So then really building assassin damage, finding epic gear or purple gear that had the assassin damage was needed to be able to insta-kill enemies. You saw the effect of the grind that you were doing of getting the purple gear, getting that 100% crit chance. You saw the effect. In Shadows, you do not. But what Shadows does have are cool, impactful perks that alter the way you play. So I love the one where you can block, unblockable attacks, so the red glowing attacks. They recently added some Animus items to the game, and I thought, okay, we're fighting corrupted dice show. They also had this image where they basically said, yo, also coming before the end of the year, new finisher special mission, Animus themed rewards. I should have asked them, do you mean, is this for the corrupted castles? This is likely going to be for a new project that they're, of course, doing, so a new battle pass. But, like, I think that it's so weird that we have this new activity without any new rewards tied to doing that activity. It gives you stuff you can get elsewhere in the game faster. So there's really no use. Because then it would be cool. Okay, I do a corrupted castle. I'm maybe getting a currency that I can then spend at a vendor somewhere. And then, oh, I need this helmet. Okay, I'm doing 5 corrupted castles. I did not really get any strong purple loot. By the way, the purple loot that you get from the corrupted castles, the exact same as you get from a random chest out in the world. So there's no, like, the purple items from this challenge that you're doing. You're fighting these Daijo. You basically complete a castle again. It's the same loot. So, yeah, it would have been cooler if you were working towards some sort of reward as well with impactful perks. Like, I don't know, we saw some Animus items already where you do a posture attack and then immediately afterwards you see a hologram doing another posture attack. Again, I don't care about the plus 10% damage because they don't care about it, but they are adding cool, like, visual effects basically. But now with this new activity, we're not getting any of that. And I already touched on the projects, and that's, of course, the other thing where I'm like, you cannot do this after the post-launch. I get why they're doing it, but it just shows you that there was no plan for this post-launch at all. Because what they're doing now, so this is the anomalies section. So, of course, just like the other RPGs, there are weekly missions. And by doing these weekly missions, you earn a currency, and then in the end, you can get another currency. They made it a bit more complicated here to buy the Helix items for free. So, of course, let's go to the game. Here you have the shop. So this was, of course, Reda from Valhalla and Origins, and Sargon from Odyssey, but now it's in the Animus. And yeah, these items usually cost money, but now you can get them with this currency. So what they probably saw, and you see it already for me as well, I have 15,000 keys. To put into perspective, if we go over here, we got Severus also always with the nice highlight here. Amount is 2,850. So I can buy quite some items. I don't need the keys, basically. What they basically did is, so for example in Valhalla, you were doing the weekly missions and daily missions, and you got the currency immediately that you could use to buy these Helix items. They never toyed with it. They even added more Helix daily items or more ways to earn the opal that you needed for these items. They added more stuff to Reda's shop. So first he only had a few items that were rotating. The store got bigger. So they were basically being not really generous at launch, so they could improve it over time. Shadows is the other way around. They were way too generous at launch, so now they have to backpedal, but it's already so late in the post-launch that it feels like, why would I even bother? So what they are doing now, is, and you probably already know this, but I wanna, for people who are already who are not like fully up to date. So basically, if we go, let's go first to the game here. So basically, you have these projects like this one. So yeah, this one has a lot of like items and also keys. And the amount of keys you get from this is a lot, like 1,500. Again, amount was like almost 3,000. Like a weapon would be 1,200, something like that. So you're getting a lot of keys from the battle pass here, and like, which is nice. It's really easy to unlock the battle pass levels. You have these weekly missions, and 600 is basically enough for one level of the battle pass. So they're basically training you at first to be like, okay, wow, I'm getting a lot of keys. So for example, here in this project, level 4 is already 1,000 keys. So doing 4 missions gives you 1,000 keys, which is nice. But at one point, of course, the battle pass is empty. Like, you finish the battle pass, then you go to the final level. This first gave you 400 keys, but now they reduced it to 100. You need to do 4 weekly missions, and the weekly missions are, by the way, appearing now 2 times a week. So yeah, basically log in twice a week, get 400 keys, but now log in twice a week, 100 keys. And the issue is that they're basically saying, okay, so we gave you 400 keys for your time for doing 4 missions first, and now we're giving you 25% of that currency for the same amount of time you put in. The problem is that we are already used to the 400 keys, plus there are projects that gave you an insane amount of keys, so you already have a lot of keys. There's really no reason to log in anymore, because 4 missions takes you around 30 minutes or so, or maybe a bit less if you go like really fast. For 100 keys, it's nothing. So you need to do that 30 times to get a mount, basically. That's what they're saying. If you want a mount, okay, log in twice a week for 15 weeks, and then you can get the mount. While they're probably still going to launch these projects where after just 4 missions, so you don't have to log in for 15 weeks, but just one time a week, you get 1,000 keys. So the balance is completely off. They really shot themselves in the foot by having the keys in these projects, I think, to begin with, because they're really undervaluing this currency, and then later on they're saying, okay, if you want more of those keys, you have to pay. You have to play way more. It just, to me, I don't know. That you can just really see that they are struggling to, like, they basically want you to play the game more. And that's why we're seeing all these things added. Another thing they've now added are the golden weapons. So if we go back to the here, the golden weapons for basically completing like all the meditations. There are like 17, 18 in the game, which like the mini game, of course. All the legendary Sumi E paintings, which is like fine. All the horse reaching level 100, which takes a long time. So first was 60 was the max level at first. I did one New Game Plus run. You're like 77, 76. So basically you have to grind a lot for this. Hideout level 13 is even harder, because yeah, the hideout was level 10 at first and now it's 13. To get all the resources to get to level 13, to get the Teppo. Basically, you want all these new weapons? Go grind. Go spend so much time in this game, but what for? If the activity where people that we finally can something that we can play, that is not base game grindy stuff, we finally have something to play, and there's no use. Like, that is why I think Valhalla succeeded more in the post-launch, because you knew, okay, I'm gonna do these things, but there will be something that will use my, like, we will get a new expansion. We already know from the launch there would be 2 expansions. Right now we're like, okay, we're getting new content till the end of the year. Will there be a second expansion? They're really tight-lipped on that, which I think is wild. Like, just say, yeah, you're gonna be able to play way more. Then I think asking people to do all these things for these items makes more sense. Because, and I've not even like talked about the whole enhancing your gear feature, because what they said there too, so basically it's kind of wild. Like, so basically those extra levels added to your items at the blacksmith, these powerful enhancements are designed as long-term goals, supporting players through their increasing difficulty of subsequent New Game Plus cycles and other upcoming challenges. So they're basically saying, okay, we have added all these extra progression systems so you can, like, there's no, like, real goal to them. Usually I do bother with these systems because I'm like, okay, I can make my character stronger. Again, in Odyssey, you really notice the impact of improving your character. Right now, with even, I have not touched the enhance feature at all because it costs a ton of resources. It's like a huge grind to get all these items. And there's no real reason I see to get these stat increases, because you're not getting extra perks, you're just getting the numbers go up a bit. But they have no numbers in this game, no damage numbers, and there is no stat page. So you really notice that they're trying these okay, how can we extend the playtime with as little effort as possible? Put in all these like extra progression systems. And yeah, here they say other upcoming challenges. Okay, if the upcoming challenge was the corrupted castles, well, that was not a challenge at all. So, and there's no real reason to do that. So you're asking people who already have a ton of gold and already have a ton of like other resources to do an activity that gives you more of that, or of that stuff they already have. It's kind of half-baked. And then I get, okay, we get all the parkour improvements. That's awesome, but it's more to show the outside world, yo, Assassin's Creed Shadows is more of an Assassin's Creed game now. But yeah, there's really nothing for the people that were already in to be really excited about. Now, I do think the November stuff we're getting with a new mission and a new collaboration will be fun. But I was hoping that with all these extra progression systems, they would eventually go to, yeah, we have these extra repeatable activities or something fun to do with your upgraded loadout, and not just be missions that it feels more to beef up the base game for people who have not already played it, instead of giving content for people who want to play more of this game. And look, I know there are people, why don't you quit playing? Sure. For me, I'm ready to move on as well. Like, I'm fine. I'm enjoying my time with the game. I just see a disconnect between what they want you to do, which is increase your gear, get all these golden weapons and all that stuff, versus what there actually is to do with once you get these goals. There's really no... The game ended at level 60, and all the extra stuff they're adding, it's just extra on top. Like, there's no substance to it, basically. So that's kind of my ramble on this update. And it comes from a place of, I would love to have a cool reason to do a replayable activity like this. But there it is not. So we're once again in this, there will be one time a month where you boot up Assassin's Creed Shadows and you play the new content, and then you wait another month. And I don't think that is what Ubisoft wants, and that is kind of my point. I think that they really, they had no like clear idea of how they were going to do this post-launch. They did not look at any of the previous post-launches to look at anything. Okay, what's the data telling us what people are actually playing? How can we give them, because that's also the thing, they're adding a lot of these extra progression systems, but there's no fun to it. That's what I think the Valhalla post-launch did better. It's a new activity. I left satisfied. Like, I got all the mastery challenges done at gold, and I got cool new gear that I otherwise would not have. Awesome. Sure, now I have to wait another month or two for new stuff, but I'm at least satisfied. And right now, it's just throw more progression systems in this game, keep them playing, and that's kind of where the goal seems to end. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comments down below. And yeah, if you want to see more videos like this. Of course, on the main channel, we do a rundown of everything the update includes. So check that out as well via, yeah, you can watch it by clicking on the screen. And I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.